A prominent media watchdog has released a finding that should concern anyone who get their news from MSNBC or Fox News. In a stunning report, NewsGuard, which is considered the trusted technology tool in the media industry that rates the credibility of news websites and tracks online misinformation, determined that the websites for Fox News and MSNBC fail to adhere to basic journalistic standards. Now, if you watch this show each night, you might not be that surprised, but still, this is a major blow to both networks, which claim to be objective sources of accurate news and information. And what was critical for both websites, the failures, were sound bites and segments that came from the cable channels on TV and found their way online. Both Fox and MSNBC had been rated above the score of 60, which is the bottom line NewsGuard set for whether a site follows basic journalistic standards. But in the last week, they downgraded MSNBC to a 52 out of 100. The report gave the website failing grade for the categories of gathering and presenting information responsibly, or regularly corrects or clarifies errors, handles the differences between news and opinion responsibly, and reveals who's in charge, including any possible conflicts of interest. And they gave FoxNews.com a score of 57 out of 100. Fox failed the first three categories mentioned above, but did pass the reveals who's in charge, including any possible conflicts of interest category. NewsGuard cited numerous failures by each network. Let's start with MSNBC. They didn't just get their impressive score of 52 from saying how bad Donald Trump is, but they also provided false information on their website. Among them, for example, that Kyle Rittenhouse carried an AR-15 across state lines.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Kyle Rittenhouse was just 17 years old when he drove across state lines to Kenosha, Wisconsin, with an illegally obtained military-style assault rifle.
Now, that's false, and prosecutors in the case against Rittenhouse said the gun was purchased in Wisconsin. And then there was MSNBC's reporting on the New York Post's acquisition of Hunter Biden's laptop. Not only did MSNBC post multiple articles about how this was all a lie, but even posted an article saying that this is looking to be a, quote, product of a Russian intelligence operation directed at the U.S. presidential election. That has been proven to be false. And MSNBC, unlike the Washington Post and New York Times, has failed to correct that claim. The report also mentioned a falsehood from Morning Joe about what a 2020 Georgia abortion bill would and would not do. And then Rachel Maddow was also hit for a falsehood last month. She criticized Mehmet Oz, saying this.
Even how he ended up being the Republican candidate for Pennsylvania is still a mystery. The Republican Senate candidate, Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania, is a man who is from Ohio. He has a home in Florida. He votes in New Jersey. He has no discernible connection to Pennsylvania whatsoever.
But, I mean, funny, but apparently not true. He has several connections to Pennsylvania, whatever you think of him, including having an active medical license in the state. Now let's look at Fox. The report states that the network published multiple videos and articles that promoted the false claim that the 2020 election saw widespread election fraud and voting irregularities. And a common name mentioned in the downgraded rating of FoxNews.com was Tucker Carlson. A monologue, for example, cited was from June 9th of this year, where the host said this.
Just to be clear on terms, an insurrection is when people with guns try to overthrow the government. Not a single person in the crowd on January 6th was found to be carrying a firearm. Not one.
In fact, of course, 3 people have been charged with possessing a gun on the Capitol grounds, and 1 man was arrested and was alleged to be carrying a fully loaded 9mm semi-automatic handgun. And there has been new evidence which has come out in the January 6th Commission, further demonstrating that there were weapons there. Now, Sean Hannity was also mentioned because he was talking about the president's effort to protect the Capitol before January 6th.
We have confirmed that there was a meeting that took place in the Oval Office just days before January 6th, where the president requested up to 20,000 National Guard troops be made available for security at the Capitol on January 6th, as the law requires.
That claim has never been confirmed, and officials have found no record of Trump ever ordering the deployment of National Guard troops. And there was also Laura Ingraham and falsehoods about COVID. And shocker, NewsGuard reached out to each network for comment multiple times, and they never got responses. And if you think getting a passing grade on this is some impossible task, it's not. Even the Media Politics website I founded, which has had issues sometimes on NewsGuard, called Mediaite.com, has a 95. And by the way, we were already doing this segment, and I said, hey, will you find out what NewsNation has? We've got an 100. Joining me now is Matthew Kabinsky, the general manager of NewsGuard Technologies. Thanks very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So is this as bad as it seems for Fox and MSNBC?
Well, I will say this. Our rating system is designed to assess whether a site adheres to basic journalistic standards. So, we're not a Pulitzer Prize or something where we're measuring how great are the scoops that you're getting or how insightful are your commentaries. We're really looking at, does the site do the basic things that a journalistic outlet should do? Does it correct errors when it makes them? Does it disclose who owns and finances the site? Does it avoid publishing, egregiously false claims? Does it report responsibly on significant topics? And does it separate news from opinion? And in both cases, these sites did not meet that relatively straightforward standard of, basically adhering to journalistic practices. So in that sense, in order to get a red rating from NewsGuard, there have to be significant and severe trust issues that we found on the site. It's not something where, just a few mistakes here and there, the kinds of things you would do in the normal course of reporting news, that doesn't get you a red rating. What gets you a red rating is clearly false claims, uncorrected claims on significant issues, mixing news and opinion, and things of that nature.
And both Fox and MSNBC.com have now gotten a failing grade from you guys.
That's right. And it's largely driven, as you said, by content from the television networks that's increasingly featured on the site. In both cases, content that is often coming from the opinion hosts on those networks, not even really from the news reporters in many cases. And, that's not to say that we didn't find examples of, perfectly factual
of course,
journalism on both sites. But these are significant problems.
Yeah, I mean, but again, to me, it's shocking because, I've followed your NewsGuard ratings, et cetera, and typically the places that I have seen get failing grades from you have been the places that I would expect. Sort of fringe outlets that, don't really focus on facts a whole lot, et cetera. When we learned that you guys now were rating Fox and MSNBC, I'm not that surprised based on what I've seen, but the fact that it's gotten that bad is stunning. And you're telling me that there is, though, a way that they could cure this would be by correcting the errors, right?
Exactly. So you mentioned this in your intro, but every time we rate a site, even if you get 95 out of 100 points, we call you about the 5 points that you lost and give the site a chance to rectify any issues, provide a comment. Sometimes a publisher will disagree with our assessment and will include their comments in our written nutrition label. And even if you don't provide us comment directly, if you address the issues that we raise in our nutrition label, if you adhere to the criteria that we measure, a site's score will go up. So in both cases, these networks, it's not as if they're downgraded and forever until eternity they're now rated red by NewsGuard. We love to see when websites improve their journalistic standards in some way. And that's happened, I think, of the 8,000 websites we rate and have rated, it's happened in over 1,800 cases that a publisher has done something to improve their score, be it disclosing ownership or adding a corrections policy or something like that.
Yeah, look, you guys are a thorn in the side. There's no doubt about it. You guys have been a pain in my butt in the past. But in the end, you guys are trying to push for things that ought to be done across the board. And I have disagreed in the past with some of your findings, et cetera. But the fact that MSNBC and Fox are now failing, I mean, this isn't even on the margins anymore. These aren't little things. This is a big deal. Matthew Kabinsky, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.